It's everybody's favorite show. I can't believe I've done 10 episodes of the Hobby with Cage, and we have Black Jaded Wolf Uncaged, which is good for you guys because, I mean, this works out great for both of us. You, the listener, and me. You, the listener, because you love the Black Jaded Wolf show more than anyone else, and me, as I let Sharon say hi to you guys, I could take a sip of soda. Say hi, Sharon.
Hi, everyone. Excited to be back.
See that? I'm able to drink, and you guys don't have to it's like dead air. Well, with somebody. I love it. You can come on every episode and give me a chance to drink some soda. No, so I love this stuff. It's gonna be.
I'll do an intermission every time.
Yeah, an intermission. Exactly. It's because I don't believe that Black Jaded Wolf has set up at a show since last we spoke, but I still wanted to jump in here and kind of cover two topics. Maybe we could talk a little playoff basketball too, because everybody loves your take on playoff basketball because you actually have the cards for these players, right? So a couple topics, then we can talk about a little playoff basketball. Number one, on those down weeks where you don't have a show, what is it that you're doing on the back end? What is it you're doing, to continue to have deal flow? What is it you're doing, in the office? And then two, I guess leading into that, are you doing anything to prep for the Dallas show? Are there any deals being brought into the back office, the private space to to bring to Dallas? And what is it about the Dallas show coming up that's different? What have you picked up at other places to go for Dallas? That's kind of where I'm gonna go. So talk to me. We haven't spoken in a little while, and there's been no show since, what was the last one? Was it the Hofstra one?
Yeah, it's been like almost 3 weeks now, I think. Yeah, I didn't go to Minnesota. I didn't go to Denver. Just deciding to do some local stuff. Trying to do a couple of local show, maybe buy or meet some customer and just buy. Yeah, that's what I basically did. And, start prepping for if you have submissions right now, perfect time to get it back for the nationals in the cheaper rate, or for Beckett, whichever you submit to. Yeah.
Send them in now, get them ready for the national. What would you send in? Just quarterbacks?
Quarterbacks and some wide receivers, basically. Very few. Name Jefferson, basically. It's literally just Jefferson, but Jamar Chase, obviously. Yeah, in this hobby, you got to have the foresight to you can't just think next week or the following week. You got to think like 3 months ahead, basically.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, always timing it out. Listen, we could talk about timing on a couple things. No. I'll get into the Dallas. I'll get into the other show, but I have a question for you. Lonnie Walker, my son likes to call him Lonnie Walker IV, just had a great game. Do you have any of his cards? Like if you're buying this guy, he's a rookie a couple years ago. Do you have any of his stuff? And then he has a game like that, and you are running to the basement. You're running to the safe. In the safe. Like, how does that work? Do you have any of his stuff?
So I did have like a couple of cracked eyes, some low prism PSA 10, So the thing is about Lonnie Walker is I kind of sold him when he got traded to the Lakers because that was a slight pick, and I'm not sure it's going to peak again, And then the last few weeks, I kind of just gave up and man, it's not Hachimura is playing so well. And so I had a cracked ice and Chewy. So Chewy's the same hometown as Lonnie. Actually knows Lonnie, spoke to him before, So I gave my cracked ice literally a day before he had that good game to Chewy. And then he texted me after the game saying,
"You're not getting it back.
Do you want to buy it back?" So with my ego, I'm like, "No, you could have it."
What's funny about it, guys, we talked beforehand, but we didn't talk about Lonnie Walker, and it's amazing because I've been doing this for so long that I can throw out a random Lonnie Walker. We can talk about the value of his cards, and you have a story, of course. Same hometown, you just moved the card. It's amazing, that we can have that kind of funny little story to throw in the mix. I guess my question is, because you do this all the time, if you had any Lonnie Walker cards at all, if the people listening to this is now get rid of them now or get rid of them 2 days ago, should be listing everything.
It's still not late. I mean, if you have, so I run auctions too, and then not just buy it now. If you have them in your buy it now or somewhere in the box, find them and run them.
Run them.
It's I know you want to try. It's like Malik Monk went through the same thing. Hachimura is going through the same thing. The Lakers are always going to get someone and kind of revive their career a little, and then so now you got to pray that
Unless
he
you're Russell
becomes a
Westbrook.
Malik Monk story basically, because Malik Monk had a good year, you know.
Monk had a great year.
Yeah, so doesn't mean all of them is gonna do that pattern, but
I mean, Monk could always score.
yep, he's always
I'm a
been.
Hornets fan. Remember, I'm a Devontae Graham fan, and I
Oh
watched the
yes,
Hornets, and Monk was there. Monk never met a shot he didn't like.
yep,
He'll take every shot. But he's also,
yep.
if you guys, if you want a funny little clip, I think Jordan, was still part of the ownership of the Hornets team. Monk was there, and Monk was doing something, and Jordan kind of like biffed him in the head. He gave him like a
Yep,
smack
yep,
in the
yep.
head. Right? That
hmm
was him, I think. Pretty funny stuff. All right, so we got that. You're trying to buy cards. I guess I'll throw this out there. What is it that you're looking to pick up now without spoiling your business stuff? But everybody loves to hear what it is that you're buying. Why is it you're buying football now? Because you want to bring it
Um,
international. And
I'm
does it
always
change because you have Dallas coming up? Like, is
yes,
it impacting the Dallas show, impacting what you're buying?
I'm always buying flipping stuff. That's like I will buy as much as I could on the flipping stuff, because even without shows, I could move them. So I'm always buying those things. But I'm always when I buy a collection, my favorite stuff is buying flipping stuff and thrown in a few like stuff that I could grade, and then throw in a few and a couple of like maybe investing stuff that I could put aside. That's my favorite thing to buy. So I always
Okay,
buy
so I'm gonna
collection.
take that down because I'm gonna put myself in the shoes of the listener, right? So, a couple things that I got to ask questions on when you're buying a collection. That's one. We're gonna talk about that. And then two, flipping cards, investing card. What's a flipping card? What do you mean by that? Just right off the bat, like what's a
Um,
flipping card?
a Nolan Ryan autograph, or Magic Johnson, autograph. Stars. It's not gonna depreciate, but it's not gonna go up that much also. So it's just basically buying them at a margin and then moving them. You know, at a certain margin. You're not gonna profit a lot, but you can make like 10-15% maybe. Worst case scenario, you break even. Most of the time, you don't lose. That's why they're flipping stuff.
So you're buying someone's collection. So obviously people know who you are. So what you're going out and meeting people, you're getting an email from somebody, you're getting calls, you're going to shows. Like the collection doesn't
So
just show up on your doorstep, right?
no, no, no. So most of the time, I give people a text or a call. Like, so I have a tendency to like just say hi, how are you? People usually need time to accumulate certain collection. Let's say it's like you're prepping for Dallas show. But those people basically start prepping, accumulating stuff for me or for whoever they always sell to. So every couple of months, I will have like either a package coming from customers that I will organize, put it in a spreadsheet. I will value them up and then pay the guy basically.
Okay.
So I have like deals set up like that, and then once in a while I will call a guy and say, "Oh, do you have anything for me?" And so I do that when it's a little lean, like I don't go to shows that much. So you always got to keep buying. So those are the flipping stuff, and
So let me ask, just because again, this is why I love this show. I learn somebody who's sitting out there who has, I don't know, $10,000 worth of various cards, some Nolan
Mhm.
Ryan autographs, some Magic Johnson stuff, also some recent stuff. They were involved in some breaks
Yep,
and they're
yep.
stacking up the cards they got in the breaks, the hits that got mailed to them. They don't know what they're doing with them. Why not ship it all off to a consigner and have them sell it somewhere else? Why sell it to you?
So it's like us when we decide to sell stuff. Do you want to just follow the comp and pay, let's say, a percentile, and you're guaranteed what you're gonna get? And some people, if you know them very well, some people might pay you cash.
Right.
So, I think that's the main reason. And then the other thing is it's just a trust and I'm buying everything, your junk and the good cards.
Right.
While you go list stuff, most of the time you list 100 cards, it might not sell through. You
Yep.
might have all your cheaper stuff not sell, or the bigger stuff. And not on that, the bigger stuff sometimes don't pay.
Right.
There's no shipping involved. There's no hassle. Basically, you're just getting the money and you sell it.
So you're taking the whole thing off their hands. It's one-stop shopping. No matter what it is, it's moving, especially because since you're in this full time, there are
Mhm.
items in there that if they sent to a consigner or they sent to eBay themselves would
Mhm.
sell terribly because it's not the right time to sell. Whereas
Yep,
you can hang
exactly.
on to those things
Yep,
and pay a decent amount now, probably more than they get at a consigner, because
yep,
you're going to hold it and sell it the next season. You're going to hold the
yes,
baseball cards and sell them at the right time. You're gonna hold the football stuff and sell them in a couple months instead of just shipping it to a
exactly.
consigner and selling it
Yeah.
now. Also, it's
And if
cash.
you're
One-stop
smart,
shop.
yeah, and if you're smart, let's say a guy was hot a month ago, right? So there's tons of great comps,
Mhm.
you know, and now he's slowing down a little. So let's say Otani was hot a month ago. He's still hot right now, but he's hotter. So you could use those comp and get better comp, for your lot, and call me like, oh, Sharon, I have like 30 Otani, I want to move, and use those comp. So sometimes it comes out. So as a seller, you got to be careful with that too. You got to consider, maybe not pay at the top of the percentile, maybe a little lower, because it's slowly going to go down unless he hit, 40 home run again and stuff like that. So you got to consider that. But
I mean, look, you have these are people you've dealt with before. They know what you're going to pay. They know what the range is. They send this to you and say, I have $20,000 worth. You're paying at 65%. They know $13,000 cash is coming their way. I'm
yep,
just throwing
yep,
numbers out, but it's pretty straightforward. It's no
yeah.
hassle. And then you're going to make more than that 13 on it, but because you're putting sweat equity into it, right? You're going to bring some of those cards to Dallas. If you happen to go to Minnesota, you'd bring the Justin Jefferson cards there, and maybe some of the Kirk Cousins crap.
and you look through what's worth grading, what's worth holding and investing. That's the fun part. You're like a project manager, type of thing. What's to move now, what's to bring, and what's to hold, and what's for PSA or for grading, basically.
I love it. So Dallas, we've talked about the Dallas show a couple times. Have you bought anything in the last month or so specifically with an eye towards Dallas? Bringing
So
that card, bringing those cards.
um I don't do that per se. I'm not the type that really just buy for a specific show, because most of the time I need to plan, like, what's the best selling stuff, for any show, because I think it gives you more leverage and room, more confident on what your collection is. Because if you just buy Luca for Dallas, and let's say you thought he's going to make the playoff and he doesn't, and now you're just stuck with a bunch of Luca that you can't move, so so I don't do that. I do more like what's going to be hot. And I know people are not, it might want to buy some LeBron right now,
Right.
to be honest with you, because he's, they're projecting they could win the whole thing, or let's say Tatum might be a little low right now, or I expect certain, like, people might be hotter. Like, I think Jaylen Brown is going to be hot for this, coming upcoming show. um I think Hurts, and also a lot of football activity all the time in Dallas. People are buying Hurts again, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Fields. So everybody want to be early, because this is like one of the best show before National. There's one more coming up in July, 2 weeks before National, but I'm not guaranteed people will want to, like, sell their stuff 2 weeks before National.
Right.
So this is like one of the better show before National.
Especially because I think you could still buy stuff and grade it. You could still buy raw stuff there, right?
Exactly.
2 weeks
So,
before it's gonna be tougher unless you're
mhm.
expediting the hell out of it.
And you can
It's
buy there and drop it off there. So
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, listen, I mean, that's interesting. We've talked also about this, and I'm sure you've talked about it before, but people like to hear
Mhm.
about it as well. What some shows are retail shows, repack shows, buying shows. Dallas is not a good show for you for buying, right?
It's not. I'm gonna try it again. So maybe
You switching your tactics up a little bit?
it's really tough. So one thing I learned is it's flipping stuff is super hard to buy there, but you could buy some investment stuff there. because repack really don't want to look past a month. They want to see they're going to see who's the product is going to be out in a month. They want to see what's hot in that month and sell it. So they don't really want to buy some guys that, let's say, just lost in the playoff. It doesn't look good for the repack. So you could still nitpick. Like J Rod could be like good to buy right now,
Right.
and some repack people, because they bought a lot and kind of got hammered. Might not be looking for J Rod. So if you want to get in and buy some J Rod right now, might be a good. Maybe Dallas could be a good place to
Stretch
buy
your
them.
horizons a little bit on it, right? I mean, if you're a believer long term in Jordan Poole per se, and at Dallas he had just been eliminated, that's one, right? Or De'Aaron
Exactly.
Fox, right, who just got eliminated but had a great year. Maybe
Yep.
you're able to pick up an RPA of his, National Treasures at a 20-30% discount to what it was when they were still alive in the playoffs. Somebody's looking to move it to just get into
Yep.
quarterbacks, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I definitely do. I got to tell you, what's amazing is the cyclical nature of this, and you probably see this. People are overpaying for quarterbacks who haven't done anything right now. Like right now, if today, oh, is that your phone? Woo! So they're calling. It's the quarterback police. They're mad that I'm about to say stop paying so much.
Yeah.
For now, up until national, basically, I mean, the run up on quarterbacks, Matt Corral and Desmond Ritter, and these, like, who are they? Like,
Ritter is actually picking up a lot.
that's ridiculous. The guy did nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's more projection, and to me, usually a lot of people every year there's like a Kellen Mond, story, that type of thing. So I don't usually fall for those. So I would rather spend more money and just buy the kind of surer guys. I mean, there's just tons of guys. I think Lamar is still a good buy. The team improved a lot. You could actually buy Lamar at like 50% of what those guys are going for. So it just makes no sense. So
I'm going to tell you. All right, and you call me nuts, and people listening call me nuts. But I have some knowledge here. If I could buy RPAs
mhm.
a QB right now, like if I could invest in a quarterback right now, you can call me Vegas Cage. They have called me it before. I'd be buying Derek Carr. His stuff is worthless. I know he's been around for a long time. You can get his top stuff. And it's not a play on, I don't think Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Justin Herbert or Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. But look at the NFC. Seriously, look at the NFC.
Mhm.
I think you can almost guarantee a division win for them. Like, who's in his division?
Yeah.
Desmond Ritter. I mean, the Saints
yeah.
is going to be good, God.
So every year there's a quarterback like that, that has been the older guy that, it's not going to be a big jump, but you could definitely buy it at lowest and then sometime profit like 100%, to be honest with you, because they will go up that much. But they have to win.
Yeah. He's got to win. I mean, that's the deal. I'm with you on that 100%. She froze again. The same thing happened last time. I'm going to keep talking, hope she comes back. But I think we should say they have to win the Super Bowl. I don't know if he has to win the Super Bowl because Sharon, she gave me a whole thing with Hertz last year about how, once somebody gets to 6-0, all of a sudden you get some momentum there. Once somebody gets to 6-0, you get a whole bunch of momentum there. And I think that that's potentially going to happen. I mean, the schedules come out. We're recording this here Wednesday. I think the schedule will come out tomorrow. We'll know what the schedules look like. I think that's very important. It's an underrated thing for folks to look at. And it's why I was actually in on Hertz before the season last year. I actually was up, let's buy Hertz. Before I was famously go ahead and sell Hurts, and everybody got crazy with me. But that's the thing: buy them and then watch the schedule. The AFC QBs, you've got Burrow and Herbert, and you've got Mahomes, and I mean you got Trevor Lawrence and everybody, right? And you just added Aaron Rodgers. So the NFC lost Tom Brady, lost Aaron Rodgers. Who is it in the NFC? Like, who's the killer team in the NFC? Last year it was, is it going to be the Vikings and Kirk Cousins? Is it the Cowboys? I mean, the Eagles, right? So that's it. It's the Eagles, that's part of why Jalen Hurts is, I think, still a strong buy. I think that team is great. I think they're bringing back a lot of people. I think he is still, going to be great. But part of the success is there's nobody for him to compete with. And that's why I say Derek Carr, right? I mean, I could see the Eagles Saints in the NFC Championship game. And if that happens, now you got a situation where you have, I mean, obviously Hurts' stuff is probably valuable, but somebody like Derek Carr is forgotten, and he's a good quarterback. Trust me, take it from a Raider fan. Anyway, I've done my stuff. I'm gonna see if I can add Sharon back to the stream here. She might still be frozen, but I'm doing what I can. Yeah, see, it's this is not me. My technical difficulties here. I want to talk to her about the NBA playoffs. I hope she comes back in. And it's interesting to talk about like the Dallas show. The repackers who are there. I love the pivot that she's making. I love the pivot to, all right, I'm not going to be able to get the flipping cards. I'm not going to be able to get those cards that the repacks are doing, that I'm going to be, I'm not going to be able to do that. And instead, I'm going to have to, be able to just go a different route. If everybody else is competing for this level of cards at a specific show, if everybody else is out there competing for those flipping cards, as she calls them, well, then I'm going to go and play in the longer term space. I'm going to go pick up those cards that are, she's texting me. She's trying to get back in. I know. I see you in multiple windows trying to get back in. I'm going to kick her and see if she gets back in. I'm going to try adding it again. It's got a little swirly thing, you guys are going to say. But I love that she's pivoting and moving to, the stuff where maybe a little bit of patience. Somebody who's in this for a little while is able to, kind of hold on to cards and invest in them, and not look to just buy it at 70% and sell it 2 weeks later at 80%. I think we got her back now. I did good. I got your hand there. I think you're back. I think you're good. I did good. I don't know whether you were saying Derek Carr has to go win the Super Bowl or just that he has to win the game. Okay, good. Right.
Not Super Bowl. I would actually not suggest to do that, but just wait till the August time and move as much as possible. If you want to keep a couple, maybe, but I wouldn't wait that long. But
if you go through the NFC, all they've done is lost Rodgers and lost Brady this year. You still have Hurts. Who else is a killer in the NFC? You have all these quarterbacks, that juggernaut of the AFC. It's Hurts and him. I mean, what, the Cowboys? Maybe you got to figure the Cowboys and the Eagles, only one of those teams comes out, right?
That's true. But there's also, I don't know if you saw the easiest schedule this year, So, I mean,
who has the easiest? The schedule comes out Thursday. I think the full schedule comes out tomorrow, right? I think.
Yep. Yeah, there's a Vegas odd, I think, for the Saints has the weakest schedule. Last year was Dolphins and Eagles, so it does help.
The Saints have the weakest schedule. I didn't even know that, and I'm saying buy Derek Carr. But it makes sense. Their division is weak. They play that division. And I think the off division they're playing is weak, and the whole conference is weak. You know what I mean? So that's it's something you have to look at. I'm not saying go and lever in and buy all the Derek Carr stuff in the world, but it matters. And I don't want to repeat it, but it's why I was on Hurts last year, because he had the easiest schedule. And it looked like they were. I think you can go back and check my content. I think in before the season started, I said he's going to go 7-1, 8-1. I think he's going to be 7-2 in the first 9 weeks, and that and then Dak Prescott got injured and made it even easier. Right, that was one of the games I thought they might lose, but it's the same kind of thing. I mean, you have to look at that stuff. I'm not saying Carr is a better quarterback than even half of the AFC, but guess what? He got to leave the Raiders. He was in the AFC West with let Russ Wilson cook. And Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. I mean,
that's been a tough division. So
that was tough. And now he's out. Now he's out, and he's got Alvin Kamara, and he's got the Saints, a crazy offense, probably put up some numbers, and literally nobody there. Did you believe in Carolina?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. Maybe in a couple of years, right? Maybe in a couple of years, but not now. So I mean, it's fun. This is an old man theory. Right? There's no one else out there giving you Derek Carr. You wouldn't give Derek Carr. Who would you?
I wouldn't give Derek Carr. I actually would. I want to say that's why Ritter could be good, if he's really cheap. But now he's starting to go up too. So, because people like to try out new quarterbacks, so that's why I think Ritter will go up, and he has some good weapons. My only thing, Carr is like it's like an old shoe. Do you really want to rebuy? But if you see like a exquisite or national treasure, you know,
I'm a buyer. If you're out there with some exquisite
exactly.
national treasure, you got national treasures, RPAs. You got send them my way. I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer of Derek Carr.
Exquisite. I think.
Didn't buy him. I didn't buy him when he was on the Raiders, and I'm a Raider fan. But because I knew he couldn't win there, and he's a good QB.
Not exquisite. I'm thinking of Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, exquisite. It would be. He's not that old.
No.
But yeah, no. If you have national treasures, RPAs, you name it, I'll take some because
a lot of people bought them at high price though. So
I know that's the problem. He was here.
I mean, Vegas Dave probably. I don't know if he still have them. So
I think Vegas Dave burned them all, right? Didn't he take a torch to? No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, you never know with him. All right, so a couple minutes. Give me the people love to hear from you because give me the NBA playoffs, and is there somebody right now who you'd be buying based on like an elimination from the playoffs, but they really look good? Somebody who you will hold until next season. And what do you think? What kind of like prediction? People hate predicting, but who do you think wins it all?
Wins it all is tough. Yeah, it's like there's no team that's really making me very confident. But I think LA, if they could get rid of the Warriors, because I think the Warriors still like the best team in my opinion, and for them to get rid of the Warriors is big. If they could. So I give the Lakers. But for investment wise, it's like besides LeBron or AD, I don't know if it's really anybody sexy to buy there. Right. I mean, I know people want to buy Hachimura or Lonnie, but I'm not doing that. No. I might buy a couple of AD. If you really think I think he's gonna win if they get to the finals. And have a good series, he's gonna win Finals MVP. So, if you want to do that, I don't fall for those either. If you have them, great. Might be good to move some AD.
Sell them. You're saying sell AD now.
Yeah, sell AD is my thing too. I love Jimmy Butler just because what he's doing in the playoff is not a lot of people.
Move? How come his stuff doesn't sell for anywhere near? It just doesn't. Why? Because he's been on so many teams. Because I mean,
he's known for a defensive guy, and his offense is not really known. And it's just recently that his offense is really kind of take a step up, But my thing with him is it's like when people have a kind of like attach something to you, it's just hard to get rid of it. And to me, people are just looking at him as a defensive guy,
His rookie's in the right set. He's in 2012, right? He's wearing a Bulls jersey in that. Obviously, he's not in the heat that he's obviously known for now. I mean, he's got some cool cards out there. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think once you get that MO, you're a defensive guy. You're never going to be, one of these guys that, that scores enough to really, make make you one of these offensive juggernauts. It's hard to live that down. I'm going to tell you, I'm a little upset at the Celtics for not winning yesterday, because if the Celtics won, the narrative I would have come on here with is the Celtics would have been ahead. The Heat would have been ahead in the East. So you would have had, Celtics Heat, let's call it the East Finals, the Eastern Conference Finals. And that Denver won and the Lakers won, you'd have a Lakers Denver. And if you have Celtics Heat, Lakers Denver, you know what that is? It's a repeat of the Final Four in the bubble. Pretty crazy, right? It's exactly the same team.
That's funny. Yeah. And Jimmy Butler always been upset because they just called him bucket, a bubble thing. Yeah. So they got lucky. So yeah, that's true.
Interesting stuff. Interesting little repeat of the bubble championship. There's a little surprise from the Lakers. I mean, listen, I was calling for LeBron MVP votes. I didn't say he would win, but during the year I said, hey, maybe sprinkle some money on LeBron to finish in the top 10 MVP. I think he had a great year.
Get a single vote. First time ever.
Get a single vote. But this, I'm not that surprised by this because the Laker team this year, it sort of reminded me of the bubble team a little bit.
Yep.
Like they knew they were talented. They knew if they got healthy, they didn't have to, get that 1 seed or 2 seed. The Warriors the same way. They kind of played at like 70% during the year so that
Yep.
they were hitting and healthy at the right time, which, I mean, look what you have here. I mean, the Warriors-Lakers series is, I believe, the most compelling, TV out there, and it's a 7 versus 6.
I
You know
know.
what I mean? So
It's becoming like that now since they started this play-in type of thing. A lot of good teams might be in the lower seeds, and it's tougher road for them, but it's not their choice. I mean, if the Lakers get to the finals, they went through like some of the tougher teams and played the most games. They did some good move like the last during trade deadline, and they picked up some young guys, and we're not totally unreliant on like LeBron and AD anymore. So
tell you why it makes me happy. My son has a Washington Rui Hachimura jersey that he sort of wears. I thought it was done. I thought it was finished. He's a big Rui fan. I think during the bubble, you kind of had to be. That was somebody you graded. Although now you don't want the PSA 9 optic base Rui anymore, even with him playing as well as he's playing.
Yeah, I think it went from $5 to $15. So
I have to go dig those out of his case. He's got more than a few Rui Hachimuras. I have to sell them.
Oh, yeah, time to sell some of those.
Time to sell the Ruiz. No, well, listen, this is fun. A little bit different because you hadn't been to a show in a couple weeks. I'm always, I love where you're going with, sometimes you have to pivot. If you're going to Dallas and you're not going to buy those flipping cards, not be able to do them, buy some investment cards without tipping your hat too much. Who's somebody you're looking for? That way, maybe people listening to this know to bring it for you. She's not overpaying. She's not overpaying. Don't get this twisted. It doesn't mean she's going to overpay you for this person.
Yeah, no, I'm not overpaying. That's why I'm buying them. I'm still like Goff. Because I think they're like 5th in like weaker schedule too. He's kind of known now. A lot of the bigger guys started buying him, but I would want to buy a couple of like NT and stuff like that.
I think the Lions are another one of those that can benefit from the NFC.
Yep.
What I will tell you though is they lost a lot of people, right? Because of the gambling stuff. Like Jamison Williams was like one of these guys who I was high on.
Yep.
And he's suspended a little bit. I don't think Amon-Ra St. Brown was suspended. And if I'm looking at a wide receiver, take a look at his numbers the last 2 years. I'm pretty sure that we all know Justin Jefferson set a record for the most catches of any receiver for the first 2 years in the league. I'm pretty sure Amon-Ra tied it. I'm pretty sure he had the same amount of catches in the second.
He's the second most selling now, to be honest with you. And he actually doesn't have as much card as Jefferson. So that's why his stuff kind of sells a little bit better because he just don't have a lot of cards,
That's another one. I mean, I'm a little nervous about him because Jamison Williams will come back. People don't realize how good that dude was.
Yes,
he was injured in a bowl game. And so he only came back at the end of last year. People didn't know who he was, watched some of his footage. I was high on him coming into this year, and it actually hurt Amon-Ra St. Brown because I think he would take some targets away from him. But now he's not playing.
I know.
For the season, so it makes Amon-Ra probably have a good start to the season as well. Either way, Goff's got some weapons. Although that backfield, they completely rearranged the back. They drafted the rookie running back, and they got rid of DeAndre Swift.
I'm shocked with the draft. Yeah, it's a little threw me off a little. I don't know what's going on, but maybe they're trying to go for a 2-back thing, but I don't know.
So bring your Jared Goff cards and find BlackJadedWolf at the Dallas show. Bring your Derek Carrs also and show them to her. She can take a picture.
Maybe I'll buy a couple.
Then she'll send me a text and I'll be like, pick it up. I want it. I want that Derek Carr. All right, listen, I appreciate it.
Maybe it's one shield comes up.
Go. Vegas Dave, if you're listening, bring some Derek Carr cards to Dallas. Or just hit me up. Hit me up on IG. It's always fun chatting with you. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Bye.